Yo, yo, yo. Yo, yo, yo. Is the camera a little dirty? Obviously, the first stream I had prepared here, with a few guys waiting and everything, bugged out. Why would YouTube ever update? You have no idea how buggy the streaming on YouTube is. And it might be something with my phone too, but definitely not. It's not just on this phone that this happened. Now we wait. Now we wait and see. Sitting here, if there's any day I should have had the sunglasses, it's today. Hey bro. Hey Tony 420 Tokebos. Arthur Kostent. I know you. Theo just got notified of this. Yeah, well. Hello from Camp Arifian, Kuwait. From Kuwait. Good evening, Theo. Smaug222 says. Good evening, guys. I'm all tired. Like, I'm resisting the urge to do the Theo bit, you know, talking in third person right now. It's funny how fast you get into that. If you just embrace it, it becomes actually natural. What I want to say is Theo has really neglected himself this week, but kind of by choice. And is it really neglect then? What I mean is like being in the high state. It's like Theo knows, it's like having temporary superpowers. It's like, it's not always like that. And it just seems like it's worth it at the time to sacrifice things that Theo knows he never sacrifices otherwise. Like, you know, training a bit differently, you know, less structured, diet also, like is not starting to eat bad, you know, not like bad food. Just like, well, I'll get some protein in whenever I can, probably under eating in the end, right? Definitely under sleeping, like, yeah, both sort of by choice. It's like I prioritize doing some creative stuff, and I will wake up still, you know, I will wake up early. And now it's so funny because at other times, treating myself like this, I would feel horrendous right now. I would be in no shape to stream at all. And, you know, you can make the case that I should go to bed, just go chill now. But I'm fine, you know, I'm just a little... What's the word I'm looking for even? What's the metaphor? See, okay, I'm not operating at an absolute fastest, but in the end it's just like... sometimes... So this is a good metaphor. Sometimes it's like if you have a driver that's completely out of shit, like, you know, underslept, drunk, drugged, whatever, you know, that makes this a bad driver, could put them in the best car ever with all the safety systems, the cameras and stuff, and they won't drive well, you know, there will be a big risk of a accident or whatever. While if it's a great driver, it's super top, you know, great driver, but also in top shape, right? Give him a shit car, and they still drive around pretty well in that. That's kind of it now. The driver is in good shape. However, the car is rusty right now. That's what you could say. So I want to talk to you guys. Hello from Norrköping, Smaug. Not as interesting of a location. Typical troll here. Is this the dedicated stream troll account you have? Because I know exactly who that guy is. It writes in the exact same way from all the accounts. In a way that's very easy to spot. I don't even think he tries to hide it. Smaug. No, you're not the troll. If that, you know, I'm not gonna give the... That's the thing, guys. I give the trolls attention. The attention that they yearn for in comment sections, but on the streams, you know, I had one thing, because it was a guy I really had a personal thing going with for a long time, and in the end I care for the guy, right? But I'm saying, because I do that, you know, I interact with all the comments, but since it's something I do in comment sections, I actively want to be like, the streams are for the good guys, you know. the good guys. So no Smaug, not you. Do the good guys though? Do talk though. Like please, I called it typical name recently, right? Humble, egoless, Q&A stream, fitness Q&A stream. But it's kind of like I want you guys to ask me questions that are more specific, because it's like I don't have in me to think of the small things, and I don't mean small like that there's anything wrong to be thinking about those. But for me, let's say this right now: if I'm to think about doing a training video, I'm gonna do muscle group video. It's like, why? I think about so much bigger things right now. If it's I that decide, it's like that's not where I want to go. However, if someone asks me about training a muscle, for instance, like, oh, I'm happy to tell you about it. So yeah, that's kind of what I'm looking for with this stream. I mean, you can ask me deeper, bigger stuff too, of course. But point is, I'd like to get input to go off of, not create from scratch myself, if you see what I mean. I call you guys that co-creators. Co-creators. That's what we're supposed to be. You should be a creator in your life, that is being godly. God, the creator. You're gonna try to do your best to be like God. You can never be God, but create, and we co-create, right? So if I'm the main creator in this setting on the Uncommon Sense YouTube channel, I want you to be co-creators though. Really want that. Oh, ha! Okay, same. The chat was stuck for me. Do you train in a gym, Arthur asked. Yeah, I do, man. Like, are you asking if I like only do outdoor training? Because I train in gyms, obviously. Like in winter, that's all I do. In the summer, I will do as many workouts outside as possible. Yeah, the stream got stuck. Not the stream, the chat. Smaug, no. Yeah, you were worried. That's sweet, but no. Of course not you. That's good, but don't pay too much attention, guys. If you want Theo to do something, if there's a thing you see that Theo is like really into like that, better not tell him not to do it. He's gonna be rebellious. He's gonna also double down on it. Like he's almost gonna bring you into it. He's always gonna attack you for it. You see, Theo has his reasons to do what he does. He's very happy with doing that. You have to just trust that, okay? I'll even talk about that for a little bit, just not too long, but it's been amazing. It's been amazing for me to engage with the negativity. Because, initially when I got the input, now we're talking longer back, like, the channel was so small for a while that I generally didn't get any like negative input. The ones that found it and stuck around liked me, and so of course I get triggered when certain things started showing up, and I've chosen at times when at times I don't want to engage. I'm not as outgoing with anything, right, positive or negative, and I keep away. I notice how I know my limit like that, right? But then I come back and I enjoy it. I could get triggered at times, but just like, training is tough when it's new, progressively over, we get stronger, right? Fasting was really tough first. Now it's quite easy for me. Now, by engaging in this and knowing my limits, if I notice that, okay, now you're actually starting to feel like angry for real, you're losing control. Okay, put the phone away. We're done with that for now, go do some other activity, go talk to someone you like, whatever, right? So now I've learned so much both about me, more about my insecurities, what makes me sensitive, even further. And I learn more about the psychology of that kind of person. And believe it or not, I, like the insane coach I am, a few of these people, I actually managed to get here. Like, I had a guy that was so angry at me recently, just admit that he was wrong, finally. And so I think there's so much to be learned from this, guys. So this, don't pay too much attention, It's like, that is annoying for me to hear, okay? It's like, please, can someone just understand what Theo is doing, And now he said, I really respect the way you handle it. Well, I appreciate it. So yeah, when I rant like that, just because I started it from what you said, don't take it to mean too much about you, because this happens a lot for me, you know. Let's you say, I suppose I take Theo for myself too much. I think I personally would struggle with that. Yeah, because Theo personally struggled with that. You see, you like me, right? You see similarities with me, and sometimes, you know, there's different. It's not trigger. It's not always the right word. It's like you see likeness in me, so you're right for how I used to feel about things, and how I could feel, right? And so you're like, because you'd feel like that, and you're worried about me, which is sweet, you know. Yeah, yeah. Generally, guys, assume many times that Theo just knows what he's doing, and that what you're bringing him as the feedback, like I want feedback, but I would more like not feedback of what you think I should think of for myself. You know, I have a own coach, and I think about these things for myself a lot. It's more like, what would you like from Theo? Not what you think he should do for his sake. I'm going to get to everything, guys. Just want to finish this. You see what everything Smaug said. Yeah, no, I guess we finished that now. So let's move on from that. Yeah, as you train in the gym, do you believe there's a natural limit to muscle growth? Yeah, thanks for spitting out a few questions here. So let's see. And you said, yeah, I don't think I've seen you in a gym in a long time. No, I've also started posting. I'm experimenting for myself, and I think, you know, especially working on social media. Honestly, I feel like standing up a bit. I can make this. Yeah, yeah. Also because the sun changed angle. It's like I want the sun on my skin. I'd really like to have the sunglasses for once. The other times it's really just for the lulz. It's not tall enough. I mean, let's do it like that. Yeah, social media, like it's the play. I love parts of it. It's really cool that I can do my thing, you know, have my channel. That this is an option these days. It's not just a few TV channels, right? But it's also sort of a curse when you like to take a break, that you're like, gotta be on the platforms though. But like with anything, it's not, it doesn't have to be black and white. Don't have to post all the training every day, or never be on them completely. So I just decided that for a while I'm gonna just not feel obliged to post the training on the Instagram, so people will also see me less like that. And the streams, I mean, I guess I have the basement gym, but it works so well if I'm gonna do an outdoor workout, an outdoor gym there. So you asked about the natural limit, right? You know, the thing is, I think the best way to think of those things is, you know, not even think too much about it. Like, find out. You find the limit. You find out and tell me, did you find the limit, you know? When you tried with all your might to find that limit, did you find it, you know? Because I keep finding that it also depends on what you mean by a natural limit. If I have to be like, okay, you know, I mean, you're gonna die at some point. You're gonna get older, even if aging isn't only about chronological age, like the amounts of years you've been alive. You can age in a different way because you live, right? But at some point, everything in life has a growth, and that is going to start, you know, going back to death, right? So of course there would be a point, because you can't be alive forever, be young forever. There would be a point, of course. But up until that happens, I think there's always some kind of small increment of a progress that you can do. I kept feeling, I answered this on a stream recently, that in a way, it's like, of course, the total amount of muscle I can gain in a year now is way less than at the start. But to begin with, I didn't know as well what I was doing. So if I could go back and do what I do now, I would gain even more at that time. But now, even if it's less in a year in total, it's like, it's still way more consistent, even more consistent. It feels even more sure that it's going to happen now. It's just going to be less and less and less. Like now, from this year to the next one, it's like, well, I can probably grow my forearms a bit more. My arms can definitely grow. Legs, definitely, because I've finally fixed my hips and grown my legs a bit more again. Um, Everything else I can probably gain, but it's probably, you know, close to that limit. But see it, I see, is it, do you say, not exponential, but logarithmic, you know? Like you never ever get there if you, you know, be, if you had infinite time, if you'd be young forever, but within that span, up until that point, you know, yeah, you see what I mean? And this is like, that's when I do the thing, when I think that people focus too much on who is a fake natty or not, or who has the best genetics or not. It's because I personally noticed that that was a waste of time to be thinking about. Waste of time and effort and energy that could be invested into finding out what's the best I can do to push, right? And people, you know, they come and defend their focusing on other people and how they're cheating or lucky, right? And I'm like, well, if you feel like that helps you, if you feel like that helps you get the result you're looking for, great. I don't think it does. It didn't for me, you know. So I'm telling you, what if you just forget about that? Do everything you can and instead find the limit yourself. Like the stream if you haven't, guys. And keep the questions coming. You had more questions. And Smau said, even if you don't really care, I'm sure it can drag down the mood to interact with so many trolls. It can drag up my mood also. It can be great fun, you know. It's like, you know, what it is that I know this is what people have to understand. It's my old self I'm triggering. You understand? That's what makes it so stupid for the person. It's like, do you know that all the stuff I'm saying to like trigger you here, the feedback I'm giving you, you know, do you know who it is based on? Like it always is. This guy, right? And it's, you know, if they don't get it, it's just fun, you know. It's like, yeah, it's fun. And like I told you, it's just you have to know where to put the limit. Like with everything, with your training. You can't train too much, can't fast too long, you know. Where's the limit? Know where the limit is. What other YouTube channels do you recommend? Yeah, I'm just getting no. Guess I should take the sound off. Can I do that in a smooth way? Always have to be so careful I don't do anything so stuff bugs out. Other YouTube channels. Thing is, it's hard for me. I'm really in creator mode myself now, and it's always been like this for me. That when I am more creative myself, it's like not from people in general, you know, like you guys, my comments, people in my life, family and friends, you know, that kind of input I love to get then. But I'm so into doing my thing, you know. I don't need to watch any other YouTube channel. So, you know, I don't have anything on top of my mind. Then I will have periods when I go choose to take more input, when I'm less creative, right? So trying to think here, other YouTube channels. I mean, do you mean just YouTube channels overall, or for something specific? I think right now you would have to ask me about something more specific, because it's like other YouTube channels, I don't even none comes to mind, because I've not been thinking about any other YouTube channel in a long time. However, you say for like training, for instance, it's like, well, these are some I've watched that I like. You asked one more thing, or no, you said one more thing. Keep asking, guys. Well, see, as long as there's question, I'll stay around. Questions. I think I should probably go at 8:30, knowing myself. If there's action still, I won't be able to. But I'm putting the cap on 9. That's when I typically go to sleep, and then I live nearby, right? I can go home. I go straight to bed today. So. Yeah, you know, keep the questions coming, please. Have you traveled outside of Europe? Yeah, I mean, I guess I went to Asia first, to Thailand, but that's the only place in Asia I've been to, right? I mean, I guess you don't, because Russia, you know, isn't Europe, especially right now, right? I've been to Russia several times with a choir I was in, to Moscow. I've been to the States many times. It just was some time ago now. It was 2019, Salt Lake City. Third place, bronze world medal. I'm not finding the word, but International Barber Shop Championship choir competition. We finished third with 08. And I've been to Portland, Oregon, also with the choir. The choir took me there many times, but sometimes I stayed more days, did something else, but the main time was I went to Dallas, Texas first, then we went to Las Vegas where the competition was at then. Then I went road tripping on the West Coast. I've been to New York with my family and another family, and like I'm friends. They have a son my age. Are those all? Definitely not all. I've been to Nashville. I've been to Nashville with a quartet that time to compete. Is that all? I think so. Yeah, I think so. I really like. I've always had a good time going to the States. Los Angeles. Well, I guess Los Angeles was when I was road tripping. I'm very sensitive to that kind of thing right now. Smile 222. What was the driving factor that led to you changing your old lifestyle? I mean, I can answer that, but do you not know the answer to that? It's okay if you don't. I'm just curious because I feel like I talk about it so often. Like I'll answer it, but I just want to know. Do you know? Jack, thoughts about Jordan Peterson? Complex. I mean, I like him overall, I guess. Like, I don't think he has malicious intent in any way. I don't agree with everything, though. Like, first of all, I get really bored by the way he speaks. It's kind of annoying also. He refuses to answer some questions in a straightforward manner when it's very clear what the person asking wants him. Yeah, we can hear you elaborate, but this or that now. Which one is it? And I know myself, like as a coach sometimes, it's like I don't want to tell you either or. I want to give my perspective so you can choose something. But, if you ask me if I believe in God, for instance, I just say yes and no. There's no there doesn't have to be. There shouldn't have to be. I mean, if you have to elaborate on that, like, okay, well, I like to think of it as a higher power or something. But then, to me, the answer is still yes then, right? So I think this can come off as quite slimy with Jordan Peterson. It's like, I'm not really understanding his motives for being so unclear when being asked certain things. And I mean unclear. It's one thing to be like complex and elaborate. But I'll say he has many very interesting points. Honestly, I've never followed Jordan Peterson too closely. I guess I'm going to lose the sun soon. Maybe it's for the best. Sit down again. I'm just trying to think more about Jordan Peterson. It's like I've never been interested in following him much personally at all. But certain people that I can tell like him, I'm sure you get something good from Jordan Peterson. I won't tell you that you shouldn't watch him, right? But it's complex. This is what I like to do. My podcast, Human Beings, I mean, it would be amazing if I got someone like Jordan Peterson on, of course. But generally, I love to have this non-black and white perspective on everything. Individuals are so complex, It's not like, oh, he's just a good guy. He's a good guy, and those are the bad guys, There might be some people you have to treat according, like, yeah, I love that guy. He's great. Or, that guy, he's like shit. I don't want anything to do with him. But there's so many people that just don't fit and completely out, on either side like that. I just find it interesting. It's like when I done a couple of videos, at least one, talking about Dr. Mike, a completely different person, Mike Israetel. I would tend to say that I don't like Mike all that much, But I also see where he's coming from. He clearly has his insecurities and traumas, wounds. I have my own. I mean, I can see where certain behaviors that I don't, really like with him. where they come from, and he's not always like that. It's not like he's all bad. It's interesting. It's so interesting. That's the way I'd like people to look at me, you know. Theo, weird and strange in many ways. It's like, well, I don't really, you know, I don't like this about him, but, you know, I see for the most part it was, you know, whatever you think. It's complex with individuals. Shiggy Overload. Hello, friends. Hope everyone is well. Hello, Shiggy. I commented, Peter used to be good. His rehab and DW, Daily Wire employment destroyed him. Yeah, might be the case. And you know, but that he had to go into rehab is something I don't want to, like, I'm not saying that you did, but I don't want to judge him for that, you know. That's the thing, and that's what you notice, even having a way smaller following than someone like Jordan Peterson. All the freaking attention you get, the positive and negative, and people thinking like this and this, all the hate, but also all the people you know look up to you and are counting on you in different ways. It's insane, you know, now these days with the social media and internet and everything, you know. So yeah, you know, it's very easy to sit and have freaking nothing of that going on. You're a little ant compared to Jordan Peterson. Not you, Shiggy, again, to be clear. No, that kind of person that would be critical of Jordan like that. It's like, oh, well, that's great that you are so comfortable in your life that you haven't been pushed to something like that. What other jobs have I had before coaching? That's an interesting question. I'll get to that. I'll just see. Milton Isblad, Theo, enjoying the sun as you should. Yes, Milton, we'll see. Milton has worked with me, and he recently moved close to here. And anyone I've worked with or have worked with, if I get the chance, I'd like to meet them in person, if we've done the online part. So I'll get back to you about next week. It was on the right, the leading you are now, right? I actually been there. Oh, I have such a funny story to tell about the girl I dated for a few times that took an abrupt ending I did not expect. And you know, it's another one of these. It's the exact fucking thing that happens to me online, that I was so not prepared that she would be so triggered by me. And everything she told me, in the end, she was doing herself. And it's very easy to tell because she was so upset and emotional and triggered, and I wasn't at all. I was really sitting and trying to listen, not argue at first, and be like, is there truth to this? Is there truth to this? And then I just had to conclude that, no, I just triggered the shit out of her because she was a lot like me. Extremely extroverted and actually freaking life coach herself, you know. So interesting. You hear a person, she has so insightful things to say about relationships with people she works with. And then she so clearly, you know, didn't handle things well at all with me. It's funny because it's a girl, like, on the paper, I should be like super excited about her. But that the way she acted, it's like, okay, well, yeah, I'm not interested at all anymore. Your loss, little girl. Just making sure I'm not missing anything. Puteas, thoughts on distraction in the modern day, harnessing negative emotions in a productive way. Do you mean that those are related, or was it? It wasn't you that asked about like being black-pilled recently. That was someone else. Harnessing. I'm sorry, I don't really know that word. I'm thinking neck harness is the only that it hangs. Clarify that part, and I'll do the first part. Because about distractions, that's a great one. That's something I really need to do video on. When I calm myself down from the huge ego topics, you know, looking within and figuring self out like that. It has so much to do with that, though. But I can get that's a good one. Distractions. Distractions. Yeah. So honestly, it's something we all do all the time to different degrees. Escaping reality, escaping ourselves, you know. Think of it this way: the stillness you're avoiding, right? When there's just not much going on, you know, like, and you want something to go. I need to watch YouTube. I need to do this. I need to eat something. Whatever it is, right? The answer is like if you at those times actually face the stillness, you'll find something important out. I distractions, yeah. It's like, of course, in part also, it's like it's always like this with addictive behaviors. That I think there's a degree that we have something we escape from, but then, you know, when we so many things, you know, vices, stuff to stimulate and distract yourself with, are available. You can just get used to that, and now it's like the discomfort of being away from it is what you're escaping again. So, you know, it's good to have some practices of complete stillness. You know, the silent prayer from Jesse Lee Peterson is a great. Be still and know, is what it's called, right? Just sitting, just observing the inner world. Do you know how many people I've given that silent prayer, 15 minutes, and they are unable to do it? Just freaking 15 minutes of nothing other going on than, okay, I'm just gonna patiently sit and observe my thoughts and see what's going on. That should tell you something about, you know, people escape themselves all the time. Yeah, but so I like that one. I like doing stuff like going on a walk, completely unstimulated, no earphones, just being with yourself in the nature, preferably. It would have had to be nature, but you know, the less impressions you could get, the better. I always take this example because I guess it applies very well to me. That if you do something like clean the dishes, so typical and available now. Oh, I put something on YouTube at the same time. Oh, you see, just do the thing. Just be present in the moment with what you're doing. So yeah, but elaborate on the whole harnessing negative emotion thing. Some people on a big dog here. Oh, what other jobs did I have before coaching? So I guess, you know, I haven't had so many 9 to 5 jobs. I guess my very, very first job ever is like a summer job when I'm 16, working in a cafe. You know, in the kitchen as a, you know, serving food if that's what I need. I just gotta see what I've signed on some new clients, elite program clients. I'm always so excited to get to work with those guys on the elite program. So yeah, I usually set things up by the weekend, so you can go over it and start it on the next week. Yeah, I had a cafe job, was the first one. I guess the next year I worked at some, how do you call that? It's like it's not like a kindergarten, but it is like a place where like kindergartens will go, right? Like a playground, or it's like there is a playground, you know, communal state, you know, playground. Um, just fix it, tidying things up around the place there and stuff. I don't even remember really what we did there. I think of it. My first, I guess I had a 9 to 5. My first 9 to 5 when I graduated high school was telemarketing. I realized that that's probably a good skill to learn, you know, like the ability to make someone want, to make someone, you know, out of nowhere, make someone want something that you're offering them, right? The psychology in that. And I'll let you know, guys, I've never been, I think there are 2 types of salesmen. I mean, there are many types, but there's like the heartless one that can just freaking push. Is more like manipulative in that way. And then there's guys like me that don't want to do that. Don't feel good about feeling like you're forcing someone to do it. Can be enthusiastic, still maybe not take the no immediately and stuff, but it's more that you charm the person so much in the end, you know, that they're like, oh, let's go. They say themselves. You don't have to close them pretty much. They close themselves. I sold lottery tickets, by the way. You know, Postkodlotteriet for Swedish people. I was recruited to another sales job. This is interesting. I have to think about my like work before that. Like all that from that life, I almost feel like it's um, it's like a prologue. It's like I actually started my life at 25, and everything else is just like the backstory that I know is back there. Um, no, when I was recruited to a more serious sales job, you know, business to business, selling ads for newspaper, but I didn't like it there and I quit. That's actually when I started to learn online poker. And I could make a living from online poker, like an online poker pro. But it sounds fancier than it is. I could just make a decent money, especially for my age at like 19, 20. And 19 was when I started. Um, but yeah, quit that. I had some other sales job, another lottery ticket actually. Then I guess that's when I started studying journalism, and I worked as a blackjack dealer in different bars. It was a kind of fun job, you know. Of course, you have to be up very late, which I would be many times back in the day anyway. I would have hated to have to work like that now. Um, and yeah, after the journalism studies, I guess I had that job where I started crashing, where I had my first panic attack. Customer service job, just car rental reservations. You know, it was pretty great. Like not good pay, but it was easy. You know, um, yeah. But after the panic attacks, I started doing my own thing. I finished the studies, the journalism studies, and started studying to be PT. Worked as PT. I've been employed in 3 different gyms, including this like super fancy place that I didn't like, rejected to start my own thing, and that I've been doing since the start of 2022. You got my whole CV there. Um, yeah, good. You keep it up, guys. Um, Smile 20. If you face the stillness, you find something out. Yeah, you said well said, but yeah, completely. That's what people refuse to freaking face themselves. That's what I'm all about, making people do here. That's why the triggering part comes in, right? You poke people right where it hurts, and then instead, you know, the immature person is gonna be like, I attacked the person that I feel hurt me, you know. But if you know on this side of things that, well, many times people are hurt when that's actually not the intention at all. But even if you have the intention, like, I'm going to poke you so you get the chance to notice something, you're not actually hurting the person. You're just showing them where there was pain already. And if they can instead ask themselves, why? Why does that hurt so much? What's going on here? You know, I have to face something here. Oh, I'm afraid of this. I have a fear of doing this, and this person reminds me of this. Wow. What can that have come from? How did I end up like that? You know, this is what people refuse to do. They love to make up their comfortable story that justifies them not going after everything that they know deep down that they truly want in this life. Face the stillness, face yourself. That's what you have to face in the stillness, when there's nothing to distract you. It's just you. Singing, dancing, muscle man. Greetings, everyone. I'm just tuning in. Been a while since I see you, man. How you been? Good to see you here. Like the stream if you haven't, guys. Keep the questions coming. Maybe send a super chat if you appreciate, well, this stream, but uncommon sense and what I do at all. I would greatly appreciate the support. Survivor. I woke up early the other day and sat in stillness for 40 minutes. I didn't have any profound realizations. Okay, so do you feel, was it a waste of time? Should you have just distracted yourself with something? Or it's like, you know, even that's a good sign, man. That means that, okay, you're probably quite peaceful at the moment, but it's still sort of, you're really, what's the words I'm looking for this? you're really collecting yourself. That's what meditation is sometimes. It's not always about facing something that comes up. It can just be being even more, centering yourself even more, So, yeah, and even it's like you're preparing for other moments when you'd have to do that, when you're more pressured, right? So, yeah, I think it's a good practice just for that reason. Like even when something doesn't come up. Well, and let's put it this way: you sat in stillness for 40 minutes, but try to notice times in life when you don't want to be in stillness, right? When you get the impulse to reach for some kind of distraction. PTS, I mean, how do you turn negative emotions into productive actions without failing into unproductive traps caused by negativity? Thanks, Theo. Yeah, I mean, many times you said negative emotions into productive actions. Was that what you said? I mean, you can sometimes find what certain negative emotions can be channeled into something positive. Me, for instance, right now, lately, I'm having very little anger, right? Like, also a funny thing, my intensity is often mistaken for anger. Right now, as you can tell, I'm quite calm. I kind of actively went into the stream like I'm going to be calm. But last year, I had a lot more anger. It was like a combination of some personal life stuff that I had to I felt hurt by someone. I'm angry, right? And having the YouTube channel grow larger and just getting all kinds of input I never got them before. Then yeah, so I had anger, but I was aware of it, and then both I could kind of channel that into certain intensity in videos, that for certain messages are really good. It makes it powerful, and I could, especially at that time, I can channel the anger so well into workouts. It's like I make up this character. I mean, it's not really made up, It's like it's based off of the hurt little boy in Theo, right? And it's like being the hero, saving that guy that's so angry at the people that hurt him. And yeah, you're just pretending that the gym workout is something else, pretty much. Because it's an intense thing you have to do. The anger, it's a sympathetic nervous system emotion. And the sympathetic nervous system is what we want to be activated there. But so it's more difficult with those other emotions that really like a depressive kind of emotion. That's more of a parasympathetic emotion. But what you can do is, I call it sometimes rolling with the state, that you can still use the training, but you maybe want, instead of this like freaking intensity in it, maybe you do something slower and controlled. Like I always had to keep control even with the intensity, that the form is right, that you're stable, but there's still some kind of other intensity in there. While in a more depressive state, I would tend to have a different approach, just slow everything down a bit more. So turning them, it's state management, rolling with the state. It's like, yeah, and many times if you have negative thoughts, because people often think about it, like, how do I stop overthinking? How do I stop the negative thoughts? You're not gonna probably, if you haven't succeeded so far, you're not gonna think your way out of that. Just take the actions anyway, and you just stop thinking about the thing, and you feel good for what you're doing. Many times, actually, sometimes when there's too much negativity, then it's like you're not gonna get stillness with yourself anyway. So just go do something else. Change the environment so the environment isn't just stuck in your head repeating the same freaking negative stuff. Get impressions so it's replaced by something else. So I hope some of that was decent. Nomad FLBH, $5 super chat. Salute to all. Have you ever practiced breath work to release DMT? Interesting question. Thank you for the super chat. I have tried breathwork. I don't think that I managed to release DMT. You know, when I met someone that has practiced like Wim Hof, I have tried it with them. But it has just not, I'm not saying it's a bad thing. It's just one of the many things I've actually just haven't gotten into much. Right now, I'm just not so tempted to do it. You know, I'm not quite seeing, don't like this, don't like this. I'm not quite seeing the great thing it could do for me right now. Serenity now. Serenity now. Yeah, so, thank you for the super chat, but I happen to not have too much to say about that. You can go, I have a podcast with my friend, Greek friend, Odysseus. He is way into breathwork. In fact, he even went to like the Wim Hof, like retreat, spent some days with some people with Wim Hof. It's funny, he's a Greek guy. People think I'm way into cold exposure. I mean, I've done it. I guess most people don't do it the way I do it, like they haven't done it at all or just a single time here and there. So compared to many, I've done it a lot. But I don't consider that something I've specialized in, really. That guy, being a Greek guy, the Greeks, they hate the cold, generally. And he's like insane with the cold. He definitely, like, not that it's a competition, but I always feel when I've done it with him, like, how can he just be in so long? He's going for a swim and shit. So thank you so much for the super chat, but I unfortunately don't have too much to say about that. Keep them coming though, guys. Really appreciate more super chats. Because right now I'm gonna stream no matter what, but I keep telling you guys, gonna have to be more of a regular thing with super chats for me to be able to prioritize it at some point. Now it's like I just feel like I like to do this. I mean, I will always like it, but it's like there are many clients I have that I like talking to, but at different times it's just knowing that you have these things scheduled. I have to bring my good energy in there, right? But for the clients, obviously I will do that because they pay me to do that. Let's see here. Just making sure again. Survivor, I escape nearly all the time. Yeah, man, you're not the only one. But maybe stop that. I'll not stop it completely, gradually. Always progression. Progressive overload. Jack, do you drink alcohol sometimes or avoid alcohol completely? Well, the way I always answer this is that in Sweden we have a word that's nykterist, and that means sobrietist. And if the people that say that, they mean they literally don't ever drink. I'm like all about the sobrietist when it comes to alcohol. That we often go many months without me having any of it, but I don't forbid myself to have it at all. So on my vacation on Gotland, I had 2 whiskeys at 2 different times. That was it. Don't even remember the time I drank before that. Yeah. No, as I vaguely allude to, it would not be my choice if I'm to indulge in some mind-altering substance like that. Alcohol would not be my main choice. I think the return on investment is not good. I don't really need the effect so much. Needed way more when I was insecure, anxious guy, because it's a depressant, makes you relax. Of course, I can need to relax at times, but it's not so much about. It would be more the body than like feeling secure in myself or something. Yeah, many times when I've had some alcohol, even a little, it's like for what I got from it, that I have to pay still some kind of price next day. This small little anxiety, maybe little, not perfect gut, little dehydrated. It's like, nah, could have just not done that. But every once in a while, whiskey and like champagne or sparkling wine would be my go-tos most of the time. Did you I think you asked about alcohol on a different stream. you're evaluating your own relationship to alcohol. Last thing I'll say before I move on, there's a balance with everything. I don't think we're supposed to be like that. The right way is to like never ever do anything like that. But I would say closer to completely straight edge than to like being a completely like getting drunk and stuff all the time. Closer to straight edge, but people will find their own balance with that. It's always like be honest about it. Don't make up bullshit stories to try to feel better about the behavior that you just know is not good. Like I would have claimed that I wanted to drink the way I used to. Looking back, it was like completely addictive behavior that caused me so much harm, you know. But if you do a conscious choice to indulge in some of those things, that's your choice. It's like even like a thing like steroids that I advise against on this channel. I want to inspire you. Don't do that. Don't do that. But you know, if a person has honest, like I know exactly what it means and I'm fine with it. You know, it's like, okay, that's your choice then. Shiggy overload. How can I stay motivated / disciplined while feeling very bad? It's like motivated. You're not gonna stay when you're feeling very bad. That's why you need a discipline. You know, motivation. It should be seen just kind of like my high state right now. I wouldn't describe it to be motivated. It's like I'm creative. I'm inspired. I have so much to give. I don't have to push myself to do stuff. Motivation is a similar thing, right? And, you know, I feel excited to get to doing these things, right? So you should appreciate motivation and do the best of it when it comes. And then, you know, building the habit when you're motivated will make it easier to stick to it when you're feeling worse too. But this is something that I have to work on with almost all my clients, you know. A common feedback that people think that I think I'm perfect, you know. And I, of course, you know, I am a perfectionist. The core, like, just look at the ideals, the standards I've set for myself with the physique and stuff, right? So it's like, I know that the perfectionist mindset, when you put the actual, when you actually think you have to be God, I should be on top of things all the time. The way I do things when I feel motivated, I should be able to do that at all times. And I have to teach people all the time that, look, it's not like I'm saying like, just skip workouts whenever you feel like it or something. I'm just like, give yourself permission to sometimes not be able to do everything that you'd like to do. Because if you can just let yourself be a little less sometimes, the difference isn't that big in the grand scheme of things, you know. Even if, you know, you have less to give, so you actually take on less, or if you miss something, you felt too bad, you couldn't overcome that on that day and skipped one workout, for instance. Well, if you don't make that a pattern, you're still doing very well. I think I said it in the video I posted today, that I noticed that if I miss like a workout, had like one meal, I should have some cheat meal, right, that I wasn't supposed to. If I accepted that, okay, that wasn't ideal, but I'll just let it, accept it. Okay, I'm not there yet. Try to do better next time. One mistake, if you make that be all that it was at the time, it kind of literally is as if it was 0 mistakes. But having this impossible standard on yourself, if you feel like one mistake was too much, now you decide it's over. I can't do more. So that's what I would say. You do what you can. You do what you can at those times. It's like Theo, he has mastered the fitness and diet stuff to such a degree that he does. It's not that particular thing. He's just never going to do less of when feeling really bad. In fact, it's like the one of the few things he feels like he has at those times, right? But other things that Theo might want to work on that he can't do as well. Well, he just has to allow himself that. Like now, Theo, it's very easy for me to do streams and just spit out these videos. There will come a time when if I think that's what I should be able to do, I'm going to be incredibly disappointed and feel even worse because I just won't be able to. Well, if I reduce the demand on myself at those times, I will still be able to get something done and I will be okay because I will get back to a different time. when I'll be able to do it more. So you see, it's about rolling with ups and downs of life, and just you know just realizing that's the pattern. It doesn't have to look the same way all times. I hope that's helpful. Um, let's see. Keep the questions coming, guys. Maybe send that super chat. Survivor, it's hard to not have a negative internal monologue when Western civilization is collapsing in real time. Well, man, why are you focusing on that though? Is the reason you're feeling bad that the civilization is collapsing? Are you unable to be happy in your life because of this? Because I'm telling you, I had that exact view. All these things, it's so dark. In a different environment, I'd be able to feel better, which might be true. But then I had to find out that, oh, I could feel good. I could completely keep my idea of what I think is going on with these things. But I realized that, hey, that was sort of just my outlet. Again, choosing to focus on something outside of me. When you focus on stuff outside of yourself that you don't have control of, you can't do anything about that. But what can you do? What can you do for yourself? And what impact? Because that's what you tend to do when you follow these things. It's like you try to shoulder the burdens of the entire world. You cannot save the world anyway. So why don't you focus on the impact you actually can have? The good stuff you actually. I'm living a great life personally, and the fall of the civilization. Part of it, it is the people that has to change. We can sit and criticize and point fingers to the most evil actors at the top of all of this, but it's the people that really would have to change, right? So a guy like me, I realized that I cannot alone shoulder the burden of the entire, what you mentioned, but I can put out what's working for me and build up stronger individuals. And if we all think like that, we'll build each other up so much in the end that stuff changes, right? So, it's easy not to have negative thoughts when that's happening. Well, that's what you're focusing on. I'm not thinking about that at all. So it's easy to not have negative thoughts about that. You see what I mean? Milton is blood. Yeah, Theo, I tried sales now, and I can tell you that I totally agree with you on that point. We can talk more later. Yeah, man. With a type of salesman, yeah, absolutely. It's like when I called, and you can see, what is auto call center. You don't put in the number. You sit and wait. You're assigned the call when someone picks up. You just get this information about them in front of you. When I saw that someone is 90 years old, I'm like, hello. I just feel immediately I just want to hang up. I don't want to push anything on this old person. While another person will be like, easy target. You just have to make them say yes to some things. I could never do that. Nope. Could not. Shiggy overload. Have you ever seen someone do false self-introspection where they give you an insight which isn't related to their problem? False introspection. So do you just mean inaccurate introspection? False introspection. I mean, let me read your wording again. Ever seen someone do false self-introspection where they give you an insight which isn't related to their problem? I mean, I would like you to elaborate or clarify exactly what you mean. In false introspection, the first thing that comes to mind, because it's something I've had happen a lot recently, is that when I tell someone something, and I am the coach in that setting, so I am kind of supposed to give them some things to think about, that they, instead of taking it in, They want to criticize the way they start defending. They don't realize that they're going into their ego, needing to defend themselves like that. Um, okay, let's see that. Yeah, I mean they are giving you a diversion rather than real introspection, trying to avoid looking at themselves. Okay, if that's what you mean, then you kind of mean what I'm talking about now. Yeah, yeah. When I give them things, I want them to introspect on. I telling them some things that I observe about them, and I'm telling them. Sometimes I just ask some questions like, "What do you? Why do you think you did it like this?" or something. But when I think, this is the thing, the more mature and honest and willing an individual is to face themselves, the more they can just take quite straight, like, I think it's this that's going on. Um, and so, when I have someone I think that about, I think that, and it's not about saying it a super harsh way or anything. Just thinking, I think that this is what you're trying to do here. Well, this is what's happening with you here. And then instead of being like, taking that in, and reflecting on it, and then coming up with the answer like that, they flip it on me instead. They want to tell me why I'm wrong and what I need to think about when I talk. Because, dude, it's kind of funny. It's like, well, do you understand that when you start arguing with me like that now, you're kind of proving my point. So yeah, that's often the diversion, to the person you now felt triggered by, that is there to help you, to think that you need to coach them now, you need to tell them off now, as often by proving exactly what I just told them, right? So yeah, completely, yeah. It's like it's such a funny thing. It happens to me so many times, and especially recently. Mm-mm-mm. um, Arthur Constant. I just call you Arthur from now on. What position do you sleep in? My preferred position to sleep in is this kind of thing, with a pillow here and that. And it's one of those things, this sleeping is killing your gains. Typically, like Athlete X title, we need to be sleeping like this. Thing is, I had to be absolutely exhausted to be able to fall asleep on my back. So I think it's better that I just pick the position that I can sleep in, right? Um, you asked, yeah, favorite book or author? Have none. Don't read much. Weakest Serb. I don't like reading. I think people overvalue it. It's like I try to keep myself from making that point now, but it's an outdated medium in my view. And I like to take this contrarian stance, not just for the sake of being contrarian, like many people often think. Like my mom thinks many times, for instance, that you just need to have to be on the other side. It's like, no, I just am on the other side. And I happen to know that some people will be really bothered by that, so might play into it a bit. I always say that there's nothing wrong about books if you like reading them and you get something out of them. But me personally, I don't think it's a very efficient way to take in information when there's audio, when there's video, when there's other people, when there's me going and doing things and observing and learning through my experience. Why should I sit and read so much like this? What drugs would you rather take than alcohol? It's all illegal here. I mean, honestly, let's put it this way. I use snus and caffeine, stimulants, right? Just not the strongest ones, but they still affect people way more than they think. These are things, if you use these things, and you're like, oh, see, I can be in stillness. It's like, no, stimulants, to overuse of them, unconscious use of them, that's a form of escaping stillness as well. Because being stimulated kind of means you almost just feel good in a moment. I'm a naturally very stimulated person. Theo, from his upbringing, sort of closer to anxiety It's closer to a sympathetic nervous system drive than a parasympathetic nervous system drive as a baseline state. So I can kind of, that's what happens in my high state. I'm kind of high on my own supply. And so, without being too specific, um, if I ever did something, go to a different country and all that stuff, might be something in that direction. I mean, psychedelics are an interesting thing too. Yeah, they can be very productive when approached in the right way. SV Simon, right? It's been a long time. Says train more shoulder at the gym and you might become Atlas and shoulder the world. Well, that's funny and all, but yeah, it's not gonna happen. Big Bobby Osprey, good afternoon, lads. Biceps, good afternoon. But this biceps is much better than the picture. That is kind of cool. I've grown my biceps since then. It's not too long ago either, that picture. It was like mid-bulk. It's like December or something. Shigi overload. I mean, they're giving you a diversion rather than real. Oh yeah, exactly. Survivor. I have flatulence. Please send thoughts and prayers, guys. What is that? Is that with something with a? Feels like something with a gut and gas or something. It's like that you can't help but pass gas or something. Well, you have my thoughts and prayers. SV, how many coachlings try to coach you instead? Honestly, it's not, the actual coaching clients, they are often humble enough to not try to do that. I'd say that generally over the years, I've had very few misunderstanding, like friction like that. Recently, something like that has happened. There's one guy in the past that, it's kind of, they want to be the master before they are. They don't kind of realize that, okay, well, you came to me because you want stuff from me, and now you're gonna tell me a bunch of things, you're gonna think you know best about everything. Not that I literally know best about everything, but you determined clearly that I do know better about many things. That's why you came to me. So maybe chill a little bit, There's so many times, I get feedback so many times with the other person. This is so typical. It's a funny projection or like inversion, that you don't understand my perspective. You were wrong about these things. That's why I need to explain them to you. It's like, no, you saying that actually further proves what I said. I am aware of my perspective. Everything you're saying that I realize how it could be interpreted, I know it already, and I still said this, And so now maybe chill and don't argue back. And I keep arguing back. No, but I'm justifying, defending all my shit. Pretty much what they're saying is, you should be more like me, Theo. And it's like, but is that really what, in a coaching client? I think of course it's up to me to adjust my communication and stuff too. But first of all, I will do that a lot. I will just notice it without being instructed. And sometimes it's like, well, in a coaching client relationship, the two people that's supposed still to adjust to each other, but are you supposed to meet in the middle, like you maybe are in friendship and romantic relationships? In that particular relationship, is it really that I'm supposed to learn from you here how I should do things? Or can you drop your ego and just listen to me, take what I'm saying, and if I'm wrong about something, you can tell that part later when you're not all triggered. And you can even choose to keep it to yourself if you realize that, okay, he's not quite right about that, but it also doesn't really matter, it's an excellent video to make the point about how I approach being coached by someone that did something completely unreasonable to me in front of people, cursing, yelling at me. And let's go over that entire story now so I can move on. But pretty much I just let them do that. Because it's like, I don't need to defend my case. I just want help. Instead of focusing on how they got me wrong, it's like, well, let's focus on how I can get the right stuff from them instead. And then I got that. And by the way, SV, since you asked, I remember now you tried to coach me at times, You try to be the big man towards me sometimes. I sort of had to tell you that, right? Not going to go into the details of that, but since you brought it up and you're here, a long time ago now, but I think you humbled yourself more towards the end there. Um, uh, Brokemont. I only read if it's educational for the most part. Lol. Yeah, I mean, I say it's nothing wrong. You can do it. Me personally, though, I'm telling you how I look at it. And that's also a funny thing. Many people think that I try to push my perspective on them. It's like, well, when I do my video to a general person that is definitely based off a past version of myself, yeah, I'm going to tell you what I think you should do. Because that's what the old Theo needed, right? But I'm like, I let people do things their way. I'm fine, take it or leave it, you know. But the person, I'm not you now, but like with a book, it's like trying to keep convincing me about the fact. It's like, are you trying to convince me, or are you trying to convince yourself? Maybe something I said about it, you realize that even a book, even though it appears all intellectual to you, it can also be an escape when you do it for the wrong reason. So, you said, yeah. Shigi overload. I used to be very anti-books as people use it to externalize thinking. If you read the Western canon, it's good. I mean, yeah, but I externalize thinking right to you here. You know, for me, I like to write more. That's the thing, guys. I'm a creator. At this point, it's not like I cannot learn from anyone. I do. It's just different how much I indulge in that kind of thing at different times. But I like writing more. You see how I write comments, right? And then I realized that someone like me with not a very linear thinking, that maybe it's clear to me, but to some people, I kind of lose them if I'm on a big rant and I think about all these things, you know. So it can definitely be good for me to write things down. Actually, sometimes I never write scripts for videos, but sometimes I've like clarified an idea for myself in text, and then I can have a bit more of a linear flow as I talk about it. So it's like with so many things. I generally, with music, for instance, now I've listened quite a bit to music this last year, but I've never been a big listener. I want to be part of the music. I want to sing. I want to play an instrument. I want to dance, express myself with the music. You know, I like that side of things more. The creator rather than the consumer. And that's something we should all strive to do on different levels, but create more than you consume. Create stuff that others can consume for their benefit. Consume some things for your benefit. And it's not all about content, you know. Like you could create furniture, if you see what I mean. I think that's something. If I were to do some kind of other job, I'd like a traditional, just physical job like that. Building something with my hands and some tools. I'm not really good at that. I've never done much of that. See some funny things. Broke mode. I can curl around 135 strict. What's your curl? It's something around there. It's probably more now. It was such a long time ago now, and I've really upped my biceps. But it's been a long time since I did a strict curl. I remember that when I just maxed it out years ago, when my biceps were way smaller, it was something like, it was 2 plates plus some little plate. I just don't remember now. So right around there. When I was bulking now, I got up to, on the preacher curl, which is not the same, but 7 or 8 reps with 50 kilos. Before that, like 12 reps with 47.5 kilos. So that's like the closest I have to compare, you know, recently. Just to check the time. Okay, we have like up to 45 minutes or so tops left. Unless someone pays me to stay longer with a super chat. Sure you do, Brock. Survivor doesn't believe he has that strict curl. It's not like, I'm not telling you it's bad, but it's with my standards, it's just not that high, you know. It's like, that's a funny thing. Many times people ask me something, And I answer like, yeah, not too good, this. And they're all like, that's so much. Remember a live stream, like, how much do you bench? I'm like, well, it's not my best exercise. I've only done 130 kilos now. Like, oh, well, you can be proud, Theo. You can be proud of that. It's like, but I'm not proud. I'm not proud of it. It's like, I know how much other people and what I could. So it's like, I'm not unhappy. I'm not judging myself for it, but it's too little for me to feel proud, particularly about my bench press 1 rep max, then I would just be more proud of my entire pushing training style, that I'm good at it. Survivor, are you natty? Yes, I am natural. Yeah, I am. It's like, do I come off as a dishonest guy, or do I come off as a completely, radically, extremely honest guy, like both in the values that I have, doing this for health, changing, really, really doing these videos that I'm really convincing people that you can do a much more natty than you might think. Stop focusing on who is on steroids and fake natty and just go for it. Could you imagine a person doing that and all along they're pinning trend in their butt behind the scenes? It's like, I'm, it's interesting to me that people tend to judge it so much just on someone's size or look, Just got into it, that looks suspicious. And what else about the person is suspicious, Not saying that you are suspicious now, but like even getting the question. 212 pounds, but I'm around 20 to 23% body fat. Broke bones, yeah. Survivor, or do you have Nordic strength genes too? Yeah, that was the follow-up question on the natty. Nordic strength genes. I mean, so it's either steroids or genes. It's not that I'm really fucking good at what I do. I have this amazing mindset that I don't really give a shit on who's on roids, who is gifted genetics. Like, what can I do to become as good as I can, Then not to deny, I always say I probably have above average genetics, but that I should have so extremely good strength genetics. I'm just not buying that, Above average, I'll take that. But it's the work I've done to express my genetics as fully and completely as possible. I express most of the parts of myself completely, right? Want to do it, get it to a high level. Ape strong. Brokemont, he has Nordic genes. Yeah, I'm not sure if you are asking me or him about that. Brokemont said, thanks, my dad and other people in my family are strong, but I'm not the strongest in the world. 135 strict curl is very strong, Survivor says. We have different standards then. It's like I'm not putting anyone down over their result, because what impresses me, of course, the person that, how it works like for me is like compliments about my physique and or strength or whatever. If it's just from a random person, it's like, of course, there's some kind of like, yeah, thank you, I appreciate that, but I don't really feel too much about it. However, when it comes from an individual that I think is like at my level or above, then I really, really like it, right? Then I feel strongly about it. But yeah, okay, this was the point I was getting to. Clear, I'm getting tired, actually. Good, I haven't felt tired in this way. I can actually feel okay about not working on other things after this stream. Keep forgetting what I was gonna say even. Theo is collapsing in front of you. Yeah. What people that impress me, either because they have a better result than me. Okay, they've done it better. They've gone further. Hats off to you, because I'm really happy with my result and I know what that took. So that's really fucking impressive. But other than that, I am just impressed by the person that is pushing themselves forward. Doesn't matter at what their level, the level they're currently at. Everyone has their journey. They're at their place in their journey. if I feel they have this same mindset of, well, I want to improve, I'm working towards becoming better at all times, well, then I'm impressed by that. Because that's why, that's what I try to tell these people that focus too much. Who's fake daddy? Or genetics. It's like, stop thinking about that. Try to just get better. Try to get better. Then we're on the same team. Shiggy overload. When someone knows more than me, I state how I view something to see how this person corrects me, to see if I'm wrong. Um, yeah, I mean, yeah, you can do that. I mean, in what's called like Socratic dialect, right? When you have a discussion, not to just sit and agree, but also not to debate, like trying to really pick apart each other and fight. Well, that's what you kind of do, put out what I think, and you might not completely disagree, but you might have a different, slightly different perspective. You choose to answer with that, and sometimes maybe it's like, I don't agree with that because this is the way I see it. But there are so many things in this life that isn't just black or white. So many times you can just refine your perspective. That's what I think. If someone did it, went through my videos over the years, you would see that it's so much the same things I'm talking about that I've just leveled up and refined my perspective. Some things I've really quite changed. I was more black and white, even though finding this out with a perfectionist mindset and not being perfect, I still had this idea of certain things need to be exactly this way, nothing else goes. But even then, I say I'd started to notice that, but then I have some blind spots where I still thought. So yeah, the thing is, you can state because we were talking about that things. You said a false introspection thing. It's when it's not. If you are the client of a coach, for instance, maybe when they say something, it's not always the time to just state what you think about that. But if you're just having a discussion with someone, yeah, of course. And that's the best kinds of discussions when you're not actively just trying to beat each other, which people often take me as trying to do with them when they feel like triggered. And I'm like, no, I no, you can tell me later if I was wrong about something. But you don't have to try to beat me back now, get me back. Um, yeah, the best kinds of discussions are the ones when you just express something, the other person, they don't sit and try to please you, don't completely try to destroy you, they just share their perspective back. It's like there's a metaphor I'm still looking for in this. I'm thinking of throwing a ball back and forth to each other, but it's somehow like this ball gets better each time. It's like if it's like, let's say we want a very polished, it's a stone ball or something, we want it to be, and it's not completely round when we start throwing it together. Like when I get it, I polish it a little bit, I throw it back, you polish it a little bit. That's the kind of discussions I really like. Yeah, you were asking Brock if it was natty. Yeah, at each other in the chat for me to not mistake. That's a good idea. Broke. Oh yeah, I don't read much, especially for fun. Yeah, man. This is funny question for me. Jack asks, what hobbies do you like to do in your free time? The thing is, at times like this, it all overlaps so much. It's like, I know that I call this a hobby, streaming for you, but I really enjoy it, right? It's like a week like this, I feel like I've had so much fun, but really what I've been doing the entire time is working. So, hobbies, I mean, like anyone, I like to meet friends, but at a time like this too, I'm in such great company with myself that I am, yeah, I don't really meet much people. I guess I met one friend for a sauna right at the start of the week. Other than that, the people I've engaged with has been like people I run into at the gym, store, family. I've been with some, and then of course clients online and in person. But what I like to do in my free time, hobbies. I mean, training is both hobby and work in a sense, right? Doing the content. it's like I like to do it also. Have fun doing it. You see, it's hard for me to even come up with. I think it is generally in this time, but I've had times before when I really feel like I don't really know what to do with my free time. I just do the being on screens and watching stuff, partying, drinking, all that kind of stuff, hobby, get shit faced, you know. Um, but now it's more like, no, I just enjoy living my life that I do so much. I really feel like I need some hobbies at the moment, but I will take up some activity. Like I did go to dance classes at the start of the year. Something I want to do more of. That's something I do sometimes. I just dance for myself. I put on like funk or video game music and just dance as a form of cardio, but also fun, right? Yeah, hobbies. I mean, golf, kind of a hobby that I do on golf time, and I don't do it all the time. Yeah, there some thoughts about that for now. Is the can I feel like this one is a little, yeah, it's a little better, I think. Um, mm, 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 mm. SV Simon, I like the hair. It makes you look like a climber, boulder. I'm not quite seeing the connection, but I'm glad you like the hair. It triggers many people, the hair. It's funny. It was at a point, there was a common, like, silly hater comment, kind of. I didn't see it much from people I know, follow regularly. They try to attack the hair. And that's so funny. So many times, so many things like that, I'm just not sensitive about at all. It's like my reason for growing out the hair was not like, I think that will look great, you know. It's just like, it's just funny. I mean, the people comment on my blonde hair a lot, and I'm on camera. It's like, oh, well, I guess I tried growing it out long. I haven't done that. And now, yeah, it's a certain look, you know. But I don't have it like this because I think it looks the best. I also don't think it looks the worst. It's kind of fun, you know. Like people comment so much on things about your appearance that you don't, me, that I don't really, care so much about. Um, so also choose to play into that. Like I bought all these eccentric shirts on vacation. Just like, oh, I can put something funny on the stream, and lo and behold, oh, you look like Brad Pitt in that shirt, you know. So yeah, no, but I'm glad you like the hair. Mm-mm-mm. Shiggy Overload. Europeans have higher grip strength than any other genetic group. Didn't know that. Could be true. I have naturally not so strong grip, like relatively to most people. But I have such a thing like grip strength. You realize it has a lot to do with hand size, and to some degree, you could make your hand a little bigger when you train the grip. But yeah, when stuff, for instance, for me, it's harder to even get the firm grip around with this little boyish hand. Someone else has it, just like pause, Like the stream if you haven't. Would appreciate one last super chat before I go. Not too long, unless you guys fuel the stream a bit more. Julian Burney, how do I figure out how much calories I burn? I've learned how to build muscle, but not diet yet. Thanks, man. Well, okay, you learned how to build muscle. So how do you do that? You have a program, right? And you have some kind of progression scheme for that. Probably keep track of your workouts, right? So that you know that the trend of going where you want to be is happening, right? So what you do is that you just pick a starting point with calories, like through a calculator. If you're honest in them and you're not like on one extreme end of the spectrum, like really overweight or really skinny, it will give you a decent starting point, Then you count your calories and you watch your body weight, according to your goal. I guess you want to lose weight now because you said, I've learned to build muscle, I haven't learned to diet. So you pick something then that should be a deficit. If I just make up an example, 2,500 calories is your maintenance. Well, let's try for 2,000 calorie deficit. Now you track that and you weigh yourself, knowing that body weight on a day can fluctuate a little bit. If you weigh 1 kilo more the next day, it's not that you gain the kilo of fat. It might be more water. It might be more gut content, right? But generally 2 weeks of seeing the trend when you track the weight, your body weight, and the food that you eat. If you then end up being like, oh, I haven't lost anything, the trend is completely flatline. Okay, well then apparently that was your maintenance, because of course the calculator, it gives an estimate, but there's still individual little differences in metabolism. So then you would just reduce the calories more, do the same thing again. Oh, now we have a trend, losing it, right? So that's what you do. You always just have to find a starting point and then collect the data, observe the trend that's going on, and adjust accordingly. That's how it works. And in the end, when you've done enough of that, you're probably not going to have to count it to a T anymore, because you just will be quite aware. Just a certain amount of food. When I bulk, I up it kind of this much. When I cut, see what I mean? That's one thing I'll tell you. One thing that made things so very easy for me now. Like easy, you always have to push, you always have to put effort into it, but that makes it so not feeling I have to control myself so much with these things, that I can be quite flexible. It's that I started doing things in a very rigid way, tracking everything. It has to be exactly like this, exactly like this. When I can stick to this rigid scheme, now I'm very aware of like my maintenance calories, for instance, and that. So now I can just kind of intuitively make that happen in whatever way I feel like, instead of feeling like I have to count everything to a T. And it's with so many things, it's like this for me now. But because there is deep, I call it in my spine. It sits in my spine, this root system. And then I can just go around that. I can go and be flexible around that without thinking too much about it. Yes, where is TU? It looks like a college. It's really nice. Actually, this area, it is different universities use these buildings. There are also like schools for younger kids around here. Now some people are starting school again. So in the day there are more people here, but in the summer, people used to comment on my old videos when I was here more often. You live in a ghost town? It's like, no, everyone is just away here during the summer. Bro, where do you work, Theo? I'm working right now, bro. It's like people's definition of work is quite funny. Um, I work on myself and others all day long in different ways. Some that I get paid directly for, like clients, could get paid directly by you guys on a super chat here. Well, it's also all you do, the free work, you're happy with the people that you can help with your free stuff. But also, this is how I get to present myself to someone. It's like, man, I think that's the guy that, he can help me if I get the individual help from him. Because you can always bring more when you're working with one person and for, prolonged time like that, right? So I work here. I work on YouTube. I work wherever I want. I'm a business owner, right? I've been since 2022. So, yeah, I work wherever I am, really. Um, let's see what I think there was something I missed that I saw before. Yeah, yeah, this thing. Young Kiki, how bad is the ethnic replacement in Sweden? Would you ever leave because of the migration getting out of hand? Yeah, I mean, I would. I would. Because, I don't view Swedes as like my people. Um, I'm not in denial of things like that different ethnic groups exist. But my people are whoever I deem, are on the same train. Godly people, spiritual people, good people. I know spiritual people haven't always, they don't like to define it like that. But the good people that I can see share the important morals and values, that's my people. So, of course, I mean, it would be nice if things turned out well for Sweden. But also, I think Swedes kind of deserve what they're getting. They're so freaking afraid of conflict. They're comfortable enough, or they're not there to speak out enough. I think Swedes are getting exactly what they deserve. I like to put the responsibility on people, not just point the finger to the powers that be that aren't good either. But that's the thing always with like tyranny. If enough people stood up, just didn't go along with it, it wouldn't be possible. Swedes just kind of let themselves, just give their country away. That being said, I don't necessarily have that. I'm not thinking that must happen. We will see what happens. But it's hard to see, honestly, some things. How do you reverse them? How do you reverse them? Like, you're not going to reverse them completely. Something, some permanent changes has definitely happened. Yeah, but the thing is, man, it's not that I don't care and stuff, but it's like I can't do anything about that anyway, so I don't even think about that much. And that's the thing again. Then you just notice that the world isn't quite as bad. So it seems, yeah, there is a lot of fucked up stuff now. It's a strange time to be a human being with a little nervous system, all the impressions, all the stuff that's going on. But still, it isn't quite as bad as you believe if you just keep following the news and, oh, this is going on and this is going on. You let other stories get into your head about what's going on, take over your reality like that. Yeah. I focus on what I can do in this world, what is actually good, and why should I spend too much energy thinking about things that, well, I cannot change that anyway. Julian Bernie, hey, what's good, man? It's good, man. Little fire emoji. Can we get the last super chat before I go? They're talking about the strict curling. Daniel Aboldvan. Hey Theo, how do you find hope in a situation that seems almost hopeless? Especially if you feel zero joy or drive, how can one summon this from within? Tired Theo thought this summon saw first as like uncommon. Like, what's the uncommon way to deal with it? Like uncommon sense. Man, we have quite a few questions. I'm gonna have to try to work through them a little shorter. Always have to, I wish I could just keep the message up. The thing is, I mean, I'd love to hear about your situation. It's like it's not always one size fits all. Like, what actually is that situation, so I could see some options that you have. But like, what is it hopeless? What is it that is so hopeless? I used to feel like my situation was hopeless. Clearly, it wasn't. I have felt like things are hopeless since then. If I am to give some kind of general answer to that, the last time I can think that I was really, really, really freaking low. I was quite low at the start of this year, but like not the worst I could be. When I was living in Greece, 2023, I was so low, and I had so little energy because you spend so much time just shit in here, and I can get this place when I was walking back from the gym, and feeling like I can't do this anymore. It's like I'm not seeing the point of anything, anything. But what I've learned through my experience is that all I have to do is do this anymore. Just do something. I could do so much less than what I can right now, for instance. But I could do some things and just keep going stoically, knowing that emotions, the feeling of hopelessness, that's not a permanent state. That's something going on with you right now. And if you can push through, take some kinds of actions, no matter how small, towards some kind of change, gradually you get to a different place. That's what happened there. I tried to do too much of things. Again, putting this pressure on myself that I should be able to do certain things. it just made me feel worse and worse and worse. And when I finally embraced letting it be hopeless, I can't do as much. I guess I need to just rest, because it seems like I just deplete myself more and more. Like, it's not about not doing anything, but not taking on too much. Again, realizing where the limit is at that point. It was when I started to actually pull back. I find the strength to build back to something again. That would be some kind of general answer to that when you're not specific. I hope that's helpful. Yeah, man. It's like it's all about when you're in a good place, you really have to be protective of that. State management is what I call it. Make sure, like what can definitely happen for Theo, had happened in the past. Flying too close to the sun, like Icarus, right? Getting burnt, and then just like go down a bit sooner to protect, so I don't end up in that hopeless place. But when you do that, I call it stoic knowledge. You just have to know that it feels hopeless. The truth is that it isn't. It is not hopeless. Keep moving forward. Keep struggling on, like Guts in Berserk. That's what you gotta do. Yeah. It's great. I just read it once, Berserk. I get goosebumps thinking about it now. It's a really good story. Where do you work, Theo? Yeah, I said that. Here. SV, Simon. I advanced on a few fronts, but I still didn't shake salty sticks addiction. Have to get rid of keeping a few bad habits as payment for allowing ourselves successes. That's the thing, man. Do you have to be perfect? Do you have to remove everything? Are you doing well enough overall? Can you gradually just do a little less of things? It's that mindset. If you can be in a state of progression with whatever it is, as a whole. Maybe, there were many years here when I'm overusing snooze and coffee, those stimulants. Of course, I just couldn't quite find the true, actual, real motivation either. But on some level, I just knew I should do less of this. It's like, overall, I'm moving forward. I'm doing well. So if those are my little, how do you say, stödhjul, those supporting wheels when you're a little kid, if that's what I need, then I can cycle around forward. Well, maybe it's not a big deal. And now, finally, later on, I actually have really reduced that. Do I have to remove it altogether? I don't even think so, So, yeah, it's that perspective. I could give many examples of more things. Like, I would lean way more on like diet soda earlier, to deal with cravings on diets and stuff. Now I just don't really feel the need for that, So you see, it's about, no one is supposed to end up perfect anyway. No one is going to become God and just be free from everything. I don't even think you have to. Certain things you can choose to keep. It's just like refining, find the little leaks, get better and better and better. I call it imperfect action towards perfection. But you never get there completely. That's the point. Can we get a last super chat before I go? I'm checking the time. Yeah, don't have too much time now. And I am gonna stick to that regardless. Brokemont. You train for strength or bodybuilding? I mean, I train for bodybuilding, holistic bodybuilder. But do if you want to understand my entire hierarchy of like my training priorities. First of all, why I do all these like super spiritual videos at the moment is that's key. Those things are key. They came before everything else when it comes to like bodybuilding and training for me. Figuring out myself. And then even using my training to further figure out myself in other areas, right? I'll tell you a quick example. I noticed the tendency in training to do too much for me. Just run into injuries that I didn't need to happen if I just put the brakes on a little sooner. Then I noticed that maybe that's something I do generally in life. I have the ability to push myself so hard that I can push myself so hard that I break in different situations, right? So you see, I always have this larger perspective of what I'm doing. But I have bodybuilding uncommon sense style, or something the video is called, I really go through like these are the things I'm looking for specifically through my training. If I have to put one like outcome like that, just fitness wise, it's like bodybuilding. But yeah, I want to get stronger generally, and you have to do that to become a bodybuilder. I just don't care to do it like a power lifter, you know. But I also want to have certain athletic abilities, so I wouldn't always pick the exercise I think I could just blow up the muscle with, right? The common example for me is the leg press. I don't really do. I prefer a squat, right? Certain athletic abilities, and then whatever else I can that I think supports all of this doesn't interfere, like some mace swings, you know, that kind of thing. Those are my goals, but it all goes together. Like, you know, guys that are into strength, of course, they like that they get bigger too. They might just not focus on getting really lean and stuff. But bodybuilders, of course, they like getting stronger too. You have to build the muscle. It's a little bit of just how do you prioritize those things. Um, Sebastian Bergman, a more professional question. What do you want to do with your professional journey over the coming years? Is personal trainer new to mainly what you do at the moment? I keep getting this question, and it's like I just mainly want to do more of what I do. That's the thing when you do your own thing like this. You have a YouTube channel, so you know if that grows, you're going to make more money from that too, like ads and shit. You know, coaching, you expand. You can do different services. Maybe bring back some group coaching, in-person training is something I might do a bit more coming up. Actually, I do have some in-person clients. But yeah, just more of what I'm doing. That's mainly what I want to do. I'm just thinking, is there anything else to add to that? No, my thing has been uh, for the last 7 years. I just want to do more of what I'm doing, more of it, grow it. And like I said, if I were to do something else professionally, I do something so simple is the wrong word, but I you know like a welder or a carpenter. Those are two things I really like. A manly job, practical job. But I think I'm just meant for more in the sense that building individuals is what I do. You know, I built strong ass individual here. Building, you know, you build yourself so you can build yourself, others up. I work on myself and others. That's how I describe what I do in a nutshell. Um, Racing RSR, what I call you racing. You and the golden one from Sweden are lighthouses for us. Greetings from Germany. Well, I appreciate that. Yeah, the golden one, I gotta remember to finally listen to everyone bringing up to me and just contact the guy. See if we can do something together. Probably a pretty interesting crossover. People tell us, tell me. I don't know if anyone is telling him about me. You should though. That would make it more likely for him to respond positively to me. But you know, they say that we're alike. I see some differences between us that I don't mean in any way that I dislike the guy, but that could be two interesting perspectives meeting for sure. Um, Trying to just burn through stuff here because gonna have to go soon, guys. Julian Bernie, yeah, that makes sense. I appreciate that. I don't remember what I responded, what you asked. Brokemont, wholesome people maybe. Follow up on who your people are. You want to follow up on who my people are. Any people that vibe with me, you know. Everyone is just fucking good person. Moral person. Someone that at least on some level realizes the things that I do. That we're all here, we're really brothers and sisters, all of us on this earth, right? And we're supposed to come together to help evolve, you know, society, humanity together. People with that sort of mindset, you know, people that don't take the stuff I say, for instance, as oh you're being narcissist, you're being ego. It's like no, I'm being very honest about stuff, and I'm inviting you to become better. Well, wouldn't that be cool, you know? Wouldn't that be cool if we mutually helped each other grow instead of putting each other down? Yeah. Raising, I think European countries have to go back to politics and laws that are coming from God. You see Christian revival in Sweden. I found Greek orthodoxy for me from Jay Dyer's videos. You know, that speaking of YouTube, Jay Dyer, his videos were some I watched earlier this year, and I find myself confused. He's a very smart guy, and you know, it's like I want to be convinced of Christianity. I would love it so much to just feel like, yes, that is the one true religion. I think the way they kind of describe God, the orthodox sort of definition of God, I think comes closest to the way I look at God also. I'm not seeing any Christian revival happening here in this most godless country I know, you know. Me personally, I have God. I'm just not seeing it happening here on a societal level though, at all. Shigi Overload, I don't think anything is set in stone, even the demographics. No, but there must be. Oh, had a slight lag there. No, but also, when you don't go and feel mad about everything, and you're going to start resenting immigrants and stuff, you're going to see that many of the immigrant people are good people too. That's the point. These divisions, it's not that different groups, categories of people like that, that they don't exist. But it isn't like, oh, immigrants bad, Swedes good, you know. Honestly, many times, I feel like immigrants, many of them I can get along with better because they're not as cowardly as most Swedish people, you know. Like even talking about immigration and stuff, you could just be more honest and real about stuff. You know, for instance, just the one store here, where some like, what could he, can that guy be, Kurd or something? He's like really hardworking entrepreneur. Yeah, that's the shop he is the most in. But he has many of these places, different places. Hardworking, good guy, you know. Not natty, that guy. He takes roids. That's kind of funny. Um, Racing, yes, because people believe in a lot of heresies today. Catholicism and Protestantism are two of them. Yeah, I mean, I just believe in God. Shiggy overload. Finding something worth swinging the sword for. Yeah, man. It's like find that. That's why I encourage people to find you first. Work on you first. You're gonna find what your gift to the world is. You know, mine is quite meta. I help people do that. Kind of. I help you find your thing so that you can, you know, I help you come to a strong expression of yourself. You, as in client or whoever, just receives what I have to give here and actually implements it successfully. The more you become, you're gonna find your like mission. This is the mission I was always meant to do. Always meant to do. Yeah. Being the misunderstood helper that people would take as a bully, the mean guy. Those that don't get it is that take that on the chin and raise up those who are willing to come along. Yellow Boulder Shoulder says, yellow. Shigi Overload. He will be called up upon someday to help the guys that will do something about it. Yeah, you know, sometimes that's why I feel sometimes that I don't really feel like doing anything political or something like that. I have this sense, this uncommon sense, that it's like, well, I guess I'm just gonna have to. If you just let me be dictator, okay? Guess I'm gonna have to fix all the shit. Hot takes. I just want to make sure about one thing. I've had the live chat. I've had that forced upon censored chat. Tea hot takes. I also used to lean on diet sodas 24/7 because it's 0 calories. It turns out my digestion has improved since cutting out the diet sodas. Carbonated drinks are better, enjoyed more occasionally. Yeah, I do really enjoy sparkling water, I'll say. Mo 27. I actually had to swallow my pride today. Lol, the timing of the title is on point. You had to swallow your pride, like against me, or I'm not quite sure. Just that it had, or you had to drop your ego, and it's called the egoless, humble egoless stream. Racing. Thanks, Theo, for your answer. From one gifted ADHD guy to another. It's a mad world. Yeah, man. You know, I don't know. I am officially labeled with ADHD. If to the degree I care about those at all, which I don't really. You know, people love to find these labels to identify with. Me, I'm Theo. You know, Theo. I know Theo much better than any stupid label like that. However, I can see I'm clearly not the neurotypical person even to begin with. Like not just from my life experiences. So yeah, you know, I'll bring that up sometimes. But me personally, I don't identify with these labels at all. It's like, I'm not saying you now, man. It's like, because one can say ADHD without meaning too much about it. But in general, it's a sign of weak identity when people hold on to these labels, you know. And I often find overly focusing on it that I again don't think you do. But I think it's fucking lacking responsibility. Well, my ADHD makes it so I'm like, oh, my autism. It's like, you are in a certain way. You might have some challenges or something, but it's like, just fucking take responsibility for the way you are. Learn to deal better with it. Don't just be, oh, my ADHD. Oh, it becomes difficult with my autism. Then you just own the person you are. Do the best with that. There's ups and downsides, many things. Mo27 erased his message. I'm curious, like, tell me again, please, whatever it was. When people erase messages, I really want to see them, you know. What was it? What was it? So I'm walking back. Great take, Racing says. Yeah, man. Yeah, man. And that's what the more, what should I say? The more, you know, responsible ADHD kind of person would take that take. My mom, for instance, you know, I love my mom. I am like more like my mom than my dad. But yeah, I think she sort of, you know, it's the escape. My ADHD. Yeah, well, mom, how come I had many of the same issues you had, and I kind of don't really have them anymore? Why? Could I cure my ADHD? Or do you just, you know, all the things that are difficult for you, do you just put them under that label as if something's set in stone? Could it be that we have a growth versus fixed mindset here? I will say though, my dear mom actually is waking up to some things. It's just that when you're older, you know, it's difficult, more difficult to change. No, I love my mom. I've been so angry and hurt by my mom, but I can see where she's coming from. Yeah. I kind of want to do a video for my mom. Almost getting emotional here. I wish she understood as well as I do how terribly difficult her childhood was, and how she has done a really great job, actually. Yeah. I'm gonna text my mom and tell her I love her after this. What do you say? You can hear her that. What do you mean by that? Mo27, I had to drop my ego today and listen to my gut. I was going to take a trip somewhere that I had been putting off. But I decided to go to a city that's a lot closer and I ended up having a better time. It was hard to drop the ego, but I know it'll be better. So what was the ego part in that? I'm not quite understanding that. You were going somewhere, listen to your gut instead. It's like what was the ego reasons to want to go first place? Broke. That's good. You will talk to her. You're not alone in having relationship struggles with family. No, obviously not. Obviously not. No, but it's like I managed to figure myself out on such a deep level, like that I get to feel this way that I am right now. It's incredible, It's like I am really, really content, that I don't feel like it's not that, I'm not going to keep working towards goals in life, but that's what you want to do. You want, instead of being, when I have this, I am happy, you want to end up in a place that you're so happy about the journey, and I guess I'm just hoping to get to influence my dear mom so that she can hate herself less. Because I see, I trigger my mom a lot. Like, obviously, she has triggered me, especially when I started waking up to the fact. It's always like that, right? When you realize where some of your wounds come from. And she can still trigger me also, of course, but mainly it's me who trigger her. Just with so many people that follow this channel, they're also very like me. Not as like me as my mom, of course. But the strengths I dare to own about myself, like this big fucking mouth and being so blunt, I know that it can be an issue. I know it can be a problem in certain situations. But mainly, when you tame it, it's a great strength. That's often people don't understand. How can you just go off like that? When I ask you a question, how can you just give me the perfect answer in 2 minutes, Just tell me exactly what I needed to hear. Yeah. See, Mom, that's a good thing. Just because you've been burnt so many times by honestly lesser people than you. Please see that. You're the better one. Hey. Broke won't. Not many people can look deep within as much as you can. We all need to do so. Appreciate it, man. Appreciate it, because that's really body, mind, and soul. Do you know which one? And actually, strongest thing. It's the spiritual. It is the spiritual, right? Obviously, pretty good at the other two too, but that's the thing. But I appreciate the recognition, man. Mo 27. I felt my freedom taken from me years ago to move to that city. And sometimes I feel like I need to go there to take it back. I don't know, it's pretty personal, but yeah. It's, I'm not saying that it's wrong what you're saying or anything. I'm just not quite understanding, but you say it's personal. Probably need to hear more. The same guy, Mo 27. Sometimes we forget that parents didn't have time to figure it out. You're strong now, but they didn't have time to develop themselves. A lot of times it's just survival. Yeah, that's the way you have to look at it. I mean, when you find these things out, you need to let yourself be angry and whatever it is, for you, But then the goal is not to just keep blaming your parents. It's actually understanding their perspective. I ask my parents so much about their upbringing. And it's interesting how little they've introspected. They have not figured out this thing that I have. See, the way you are today has a lot to do with your parents, But I have opened my eyes for my mom a little bit. it's like it's ego that keeps her still from going there completely. But she was the one that put the idea in my head to begin with that we're born a certain way. You're just born a certain way. We people, us with ADHD, we are like this and that. Well, I never identified as completely with that label as she did. I definitely thought there were some things that I just am this way. I had to discover that, nope, it was like garbage I picked up along the way. I managed to open her eyes a little bit to that. So, yeah, that's good. Mo 27. I've been having compassion for my mom lately. She did her best, and I can see that now. I'm glad. Do you know that's funny thing? People that generally just say, like, no, I love my mom. Oh, my mom is great. You gotta do everything for mom, kind of. They have not figured out that their mom did something, you know. Raising unreflected boomers are unfortunately too proud to look at themselves. Well, that's what I'll give my mom. She does look at herself. It's just that she judges herself much, still. And that's why it's hard for her to give me credit for certain things. But one thing I do not doubt anymore is that she does love me. She's not the best at loving me the way that I would like. But, that's the thing, it's a hard thing in this life. The more mature you get, like with your parents especially, because, even with you're an adult and you want that recognition, It feels like you're the parent. Now it's like I have to be the parent. I have to be like the bigger person here, But that's so much in this life, it's just like that. So I'm gonna go now, guys. But thanks for this little calm stream here. Might do one tomorrow. I've promised you to take it quite chill today. I mean tomorrow, like on the day. But if I just feel like doing a stream, I can do that. And then I'll schedule it at least a few hours beforehand. Probably at a similar time like this, but just a bit earlier. But okay, guys, thank you for this time. Okay, you're talking there. Never mind. Thank you for this time, guys. I'll see you later. Peace.